As creatives, we have a superpower, basically. With our creative skills and abilities, we get to convey thoughts and ideas through ways that go directly to the person receiving it. It goes directly to their heart. So essentially, we're impacting their emotions. But we can also kind of manipulate people through our art and creativity. And that is what I want to talk about today by looking at it from the perspective of the once great show, The Walking Dead, and kind of its generational run and then insane decline. Yeah, let's talk about it. So yeah, I recently went on this rabbit trail. YouTube recommended a video essay essentially on the rise and fall of The Walking Dead. And I don't know about you, The Walking Dead was such an important show for me when I was like in high school and like early young adulthood. That was probably the last show that I watched where it was like you have to sit down at the specific time, whatever it was on at 8 o'clock on Sunday nights or 7 o'clock, something like that. You actually had to sit down and like have access to, cable, DirecTV, whatever, to watch it. And that is such a unique experience, especially now we're in the streaming era. There isn't like a, show that demands viewers like sit down and watch me right now. And so anyways, it's an incredible show. I think it's one of the greatest shows of all time for what it was able to do in the time that it was great. But then there is a decline that happens not only in viewership, but most importantly in audience trust. It went from a show that had 17 million live viewers at its peak to, by the end of the season, just under 1 million people, which is kind of wild. And so there is something that happened multiple times throughout the history of the show that I want to kind of get into and unpack. This idea of emotion versus manipulation and sort of the reason why you do something. So as artists, we're always telling stories, right? We're our art is communicating something bigger, or maybe it's communicating something small that connects to a bigger idea. And as humans, we detect this. Like we can kind of pick up on this. It's usually subconscious. We're not always thinking about it, but we're picking up on these ideas. Let's say there's an artist that you appreciate. It could be a filmmaker, could be someone in movies or TV that you trust. Like they have delivered for you on their promises, whether that's like they filmed a movie, they set a character up and they delivered on that promise. They didn't let you down. There's also directors, filmmakers that you probably don't even know their name because you watched one of their movies. It didn't impress you. It fell flat. Maybe there was a character death at the end of the movie that wasn't earned and you go, this is forgettable. I'm going to move on. And so we can think about that with our own art. Are we earning our viewers' trust? Are we earning people that are participating in our art? Are we like earning favor with them? I feel like even funny enough on like social media, you see content creators, maybe they're just, posting vertical videos on social media. You can tell when a person has good intentions and bad intentions, like pretty quickly. You can tell if someone is there for the love of the game. They're just creating because they love it. They're just sharing their ideas with you because they love it. And then there are people who are manipulating you, maybe in between ads for products, like they're just in it for the money. And you can just tell they're in it for themselves and they don't really respect how you perceive them. They don't respect how you have intelligence and can think about things critically. They just want you to buy a product. They just want you to believe what they have to say. They just want you to praise them and build their ego up. And so that's an interesting thing with social media, where regular people in everyday life, you can kind of see this shift that people take. Even like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but like on my Facebook, I'll see people, and it's just like it's like they've chosen the villain arc, they've chosen the villain storyline for themselves, and I just don't understand that. Uh, and it's just because they're so ego driven. They're so after their own pleasure and whatever they want. And it's just so obvious. So anyways, that was a little bit of of a tangent, but let's talk about The Walking Dead. So like I was in middle school, I think, when The Walking Dead came out, and it was one of the most terrifying and beautifully shot pieces of zombie media that I'd ever seen, right? And it created these characters that you loved so much. And the great thing about The Walking Dead is it was willing to kill off a character. Sometimes it would kill off a character in a dramatic way, in a shocking way. And other times it would kill off a character in a very mundane way. They make a mistake and get bit, or they make a mistake and get shot, right? And it, you know, they would honor the character for sure, but it wasn't always this dramatic moment. It was just the everyday lives of these people in the zombie apocalypse, and who they were because of that, the decisions that they had to make. And so you got this sense, like there was a reality to this. It felt very tangible. And that's why this show blew up. That's why by, you know, whatever that was, the 4th or 5th season, 17 million live viewers. And what I didn't realize was how all of the behind the scenes played out, especially when it came to the showrunners. There were 4 different showrunners. And so you had the first guy who kind of set the tone of the show, left during the 2nd season. I didn't even know this. The next guy came in, took it over for a couple of seasons, about a season and a half. And then you had this other guy, the 3rd guy, come in, and he really took the show from what it really was, a zombie show. And this 3rd guy came in and kind of turned it into a drama with the backdrop of the apocalypse. And one of the big mistakes that the show made was essentially using character deaths for profit. Using character deaths to drive up viewership. Using cliffhangers, fake outs to manipulate you. And the earlier seasons did not do this. They certainly had dramatic moments, a character death that was a shock or a surprise or a twist, unexpected. But they did it for the story. And they built up the emotion. Like the emotion that you felt about that wasn't because you were tricked. It was because it was a story arc that had been building and building and building. And it was earned. In later seasons, starting around like season 4, or I guess more like season 5 specifically, you have character deaths that begin, kind of exist, like I said, to manipulate you and to drive up viewership numbers and to make more money. The show turned from a beautiful, honest depiction of people, and it just became a money-making machine. And it was a good money-making machine. It's unprecedented for a television show. But I didn't realize all the behind the scenes with the producers and all this stuff. It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. So I think, I don't know, I could talk more about The Walking Dead. Let's do it. Let's keep talking. So Glenn was one of the most beloved characters in The Walking Dead. In season 5, he was killed off, or so we thought. They move on from his death like they did all the other deaths. And so the internet at the time and everything like was just shocked. Like there was, people were talking about this show and this character that died. And then a couple episodes later, they bring him back and they show, no, he didn't actually die. I remember watching that at the time. I was, again, a young adult, just being blown away. And I didn't think about what that actually was doing, like how that was different from the past deaths. Like, one, they had never really done that. Like, I feel like it's in Marvel movies, or I'm trying to think of a franchise that does this, where like no one is ever really dead. Like you can kill off a person, no one's ever really, really dead. They're kind of doing that with Marvel Doomsday. Like they're bringing back Captain America. I know Iron Man is like dead, but then Robert Downey Jr. is Doomsday or whatever. So it's like, is anything ever really dead? In The Walking Dead, when you're dead, you're dead. It's final. So they had done this thing to, I don't know, maybe get like ratings up, get people to talk about the show. And then, of course, the infamous cliffhanger at the end of season 6, I believe it is, where Negan comes in and is going to bash in the head of someone. And they end season 6, and you had to wait like a year to see what was going to happen. And so we waited, and season 7 comes around, and it's the most brutal episode of television I've ever seen. And they kill off Abraham, and you're like, wow, that was shocking. One of the core cast members, like, wow. And then they turn around and they kill Glenn. And I don't even think there's an issue in doing that with Glenn. Like, it's just the fact that they manipulated us and did a cliffhanger. The season 6 ended, season 7 started, and a lot of people dipped off at that point. That was a breaking point for a lot of people who were fans of the show early on. Again, the show was doing us in. Whereas before, it was treating us with respect and dignity. I don't want to be overdramatic. The Walking Dead was so good in the beginning. But I stuck it out, man. I stuck it out all the way through basically season 9. All the way through season 9, which is or did I watch through season 10? I don't remember. I watched through the beginning of the Whisperer's arc. For someone who clicked on this video and hasn't seen The Walking Dead, thank you for, I don't know why you're watching this video. Another thing that I didn't know about The Walking Dead was Carl and the end of his character. Chandler Riggs played Carl, the son of Rick Grimes, and in the comic books, he makes it to the very end. He is alive and well, and he is sort of the continuation of Rick Grimes in that whole story arc. Rick Grimes is the main character. His motivation in the very first episode is to find his wife and son. And then his wife dies. His whole purpose is for his son. And the character, or the showrunner, made a decision, kind of on a whim it seems, to kill off Carl. And it was a shock. I didn't know this because in my head, I could have sworn Chandler Riggs had quit the show. And I'm like, yeah, he was like 17, 18, like, that's okay. He has every right to quit the show. That's not true. They fired him. He had just bought a house in Atlanta, was going to move down there permanently. They killed him off the show. It's unfathomable. And they did it, as far as I understand, they needed to have a quick turnaround for a story arc. They needed Rick to forgive Negan. who was the villain. And they needed motivation for that to happen. Apparently in the comic books, that story arc takes place over a long time. And Carl is sort of over time communicating with his dad to forgive Negan. Instead, they kill him off and use his dying wish as that quick turnaround. I just can't imagine that decision making. So in our art as creatives and our creativity, we have choices to make. When people are participating in our art and receiving it, how are they receiving that? Are we trusting our audience and showing up in good faith? Are we trying to pinpoint human emotions and really get to the heart of people? Or are we manipulating? Are we trying to take shortcuts and cut corners to get a desired outcome? Or are we respecting the people that we are creating for? I think that's the lesson for us in kind of this thinking about The Walking Dead in retrospect. It's an interesting idea to think about the purity of what the show could have been and then what the show later became. It's almost like two very different shows by the beginning and the end. And so I would love to know where this lands with you. Are there other shows that you've seen that kind of fit into this pattern where corporate greed just kind of took over and turned a good story into, a money-making machine that turned on its audience? I don't know if there's anything quite like The Walking Dead that really did this, that was something so great and amazing that fell so far. And so I think as creatives, we just need to be aware of the power that we have in our creativity and in our storytelling. So love to know where this lands with you. But my name is Tristan, and I am passionate about helping creatives discover their unique God-given gifts and show up as artists. Thanks so much for watching, and stay creative.